we are now going to dive into a whole new set of numbers that will allow us to describe the world around us in much more detail. I am very excited about this. You've talked about whole numbers before, some decimals and some fractions, but now it's time to add into our repertoire, our vocab, integers, negative numbers. So let's dive into it. We'll dive in with two very important definitions. Opposites are two numbers that are the same distance from zero. So you've got a positive number and a negative number now. We'll look at that on this number line shortly. Integers are all the whole numbers and their opposites. We're going to describe what integers are shortly in certain situations. Let's just first talk about what integers are and what opposites are on this number line. So let's say I have the number 1 on a number line. I'll put it right here, the number 1. Well, its opposite would be something called negative 1. Negative 1 just symbolizes that we are to the left of 0, 1 rather than being to the right of 0, 1. The distance that each of these numbers are from 0 is still very much the same. So we could put down next the number 2 on a number line. 2 is 1, 2 spots to the right of 0, so negative 2 would be its opposite. And negative 2 is just another way of saying go to the left 2. And again, it's not going to be perfectly drawn in there, but I'll do my best. Then we'll go to 3, and I think we can end on that one. 3 is 3 spots to the right. Negative 3 would be 3 spots to the left of 0. So the negative indicates a direction that we are in. So negative numbers are the opposites of positive numbers. Now, why might we need negative numbers in integers? Well, the whole idea here in general is we need integers, both positive, negative numbers, and 0. We need all those types of numbers because there are things in this world that need to have descriptions that involve their opposites. So basically, integers are used for when we need to describe the direction that an amount is maybe going in, or just the direction of an amount in general. It's also great to use integers for losses and gains of amounts of things. And we'll see some examples of that right now. So very cool. So negative numbers, and then positive numbers, and we're just dealing with whole numbers and their opposites. Those are the integers. Aw, yeah. Now for some examples. So what I've written down here in A, B, and then we've got C, D, E, and F behind me, we'll get to in a short while. These are examples where I'm just going to ask you to translate, based on what's written, an appropriate integer to symbolize the situation. And I'll put down a brief abbreviated number line for each example. 20 meters below sea level. Well, if it's below sea level, we use a negative sign to symbolize that we are below sea level at 0 meters. So that would be the number negative 20. And if you look at that as a number line, let's look at sea level, like right here. Here's sea level at 0. We'll put a number line going vertically. These would be all the positive numbers up here. The numbers below sea level would be negative. So we'd be down here at negative 20. So negative is not bad. It's not a loss in this example. It's the amount that we're below 0. So it indicates direction. We make $90 in tips, so that's a gain. When we gain something that's plus 90, we don't write the plus sign, we just simply write 90. When there's no plus or minus in front, we assume the number to be a positive number. And so that on a number line, if we have something like this, how would we plot it? Well, you'd have 0, you'd have a whole bunch of numbers, and then 90 would be somewhere over here to the right. And you just put a dot there. And I guess we could put a dot here on the negative 20 as well. All right, a few more examples just to kind of nail this down. 6 degrees below 0 degrees centigrade or Celsius. Well, if we're below 0 degrees, we need a negative sign to symbolize that we're below. So that would be negative 6 would be a great integer to use there. And again, we'll use like a little thermometer number line, and that can be vertical. We've got 0 degrees Celsius here. So 6 degrees below would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me fit that in. Negative 6 right there, and you'd put a little dot, right? The arrow symbolizes the number line goes on and on forever. A stock loses 3 points, so that's a loss. A gain would be plus 3. A loss would be the opposite of that, which is negative 3. That symbolizes that we have gone down 3, so in terms of a stock, we've lost 3 points. How would we symbolize that on a number line? And I think this will be my last number line that I do. We have 0, 1, 2, 3. I'll put a 3 there, and then 1, 2, 3. Negative 3 here, and you put a dot saying this is where I am at. Negative 3. 2 more examples. We'll say that a firm, maybe a law firm, gains 10 clients. A gain is an increase. So that's plus 10. We just write down 10 for that. And then finally, this is one of my favorites because it deals with something that's going to be coming up way later, like in calculus and physics and all these great topics. It's the idea of using positive and negative numbers to describe direction. If we walk backwards, forwards will be our positive direction. We're going to define it that way. So backwards will be the opposite of positive, which is negative. So that would be -4. And if you look at that, I lied. We'll do one more number line. If this way is going forwards, this way is going backwards, this is a perfect spot to do a number line where the negatives represent walking backwards. Very cool stuff. So there you have it, folks, a brief introduction into the uses, just a few out of millions and millions of integers, as well as a definition of what an integer is. We're going to dive deeper and deeper into integers in later videos.